Welcome to this show. I'm your host, Amy Kardashian, not Kardashian. On this show, we educate and empower humanity. Sometimes I have guests who shares their life story and how they overcame it to inspire you see your life in a whole different perspective. And sometimes I have experts who share their knowledge, wisdom, and powerful insights. Today, I have a great guest, good friend of mine, Ann Parenti. I've known her for many years now, and she inspires me every time I meet with her and see her changing and doing more good things. And she's going to share with us today how she shifted her career or whatever mission she had in life, and how where she was and how that led her to be where she is today. And she is an author, singer, and a film producer, and she's done a lot of beautiful things in between. So welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you
It's
for
nice
having
to
me.
have you.
Yes.
And
well,
every
thank-
time I have you, you have something new and something different. But yet they all follow each other. Does that make sense, right?
Well, we hope it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Everything is like a puzzle you're putting together. And I'm always curious to see what you're up to these days. I know you produced a movie. And can you tell us a little bit about your movie?
Well, yes, it's now going into about 4 or 5 years old. I can't believe it's been that long. It seems like yesterday. It's movie was called Midnight News, and I involved several local entertainers in town that came from the times of 1960 until now, and they told their story of what it was like to be what they referred to as sidemen and lounge singers in those days, and what it was like to be an entertainer in Las Vegas during the heyday, and now what it is today.
So I was going to say Las Vegas because
Yes,
people
Las
watch
Vegas.
this show
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes, Las Vegas,
And
Nevada.
then Las Vegas, here you go. How
Yes.
long you been in Las Vegas then?
We were discussing that recently. I'll be in Las Vegas for 41 years this July.
41 years.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I know you from the Life Choices books,
Yes,
right?
yes, I think
and
that's
then
how we
yeah,
met. Is
you
that-
you have a
yeah.
chapter
Yes.
in that book, and then we met at opening at the
Correct. Yes.
So you started. Where did you start? Where did you start to get to become who you are today as a producer?
Oh, as just a producer, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Just a producer,
Yeah.
because you've done so many things,
well,
right?
that's kind of a little bit hard to say because I don't consider myself in that form, but I've kind of evolved into that in a makeshift way. I love to create things. I'll be that far, and from creativity becomes so many other things you can do. And when I started the project, it was starting out to be just the CD, then maybe a little book, and then the movie came to mind because it just seemed to be the right thing to do.
So you're talking about your CD, the
Yes,
singing CD.
it's all connected, all three.
And you know, by the way, you have beautiful voice.
Oh, thank
I
you.
mean, when I
Thank you.
got your CD, I did not want to stop listening to it.
Oh.
It's really, I don't know how to explain, but there is something about your voice that really touches
Oh, thank
the
you.
heart.
Thank
so,
you, thank you.
okay.
Well, so the CD started it, and prior to that, a lot of people don't know because I didn't really publicize it as much. I did a personal CD called As Promised, and that's what really started this whole process. And that CD was based on music I wrote and sang on for a philosophy called A Course in Miracles. And from that, I decided to then go into mainstream music and create this jazz CD. But that didn't quite work the way I did. And when I was in a mentorship situation, this gal asked me, well, the fellows that you want to play on your jazz album, I bet they have some stories if they've been seasoned and been in town a long time. She goes, did you ever think about recording their stories? And a light bulb, you know, you've had one of those
Yeah.
moments, I know, when you go, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So from the CD to the book to the film is how it progressed. And I mean, I could tell you all kinds of very strange phenomena that have happened. And when you know you're doing something right and you keep getting signs and strange things that occurred during that time, you know you're on the right path. Now, I could have fought it and just said, no, I'm going to do my own CD and that's it. Well, that CD has yet to be produced, but all of this other wonderful stuff came from that. So from that, we were able to get a grant to finish the book, the film, the CD, and from that, I had to become a foundation. So you see the stepping stone. Yes, a nonprofit foundation. We were awarded the grant. We got the nonprofit set up in less than a month, which is another bizarre phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's a very...
It takes years to get...
Not with me and on my little
because
process.
it's just meant to be.
It's just meant to be. I could write a book about all the things that have taken us to this point. And so that's kind of the story on how that all came to be. Now, that's not my real world. That's not what I do for a living. And so how I was able to marry that process and keep sane and keep all my friends and family and still do my passion, as people refer to it. I don't call it my passion. I just call it my destiny.
Calling. Yeah, your fate. Yeah, your calling.
And that's how I survive. So if that makes any sense at all of what I just rattled off there, it was just listening to what you're supposed to do next and knowing in your heart that's what you're supposed to be doing. Direction. And given this unusual amount of energy to finish it.
That's what we're going to talk about. How did you find all this energy to really get into this when we come back?
Okay.
We are going to talk about that. So stay tuned. You're going to learn a lot from Ann. We'll be right back.
Thank you for calling Denim Revival.
Hate to say goodbye to your favorite jeans? Well, now you don't have to, because Denim Revival is here for you. Mail us your jeans and our professionals will fix it right up. We offer you all kinds of alteration services, including invisible repairs, let-outs, taperings, and original hemming, or even have your own custom-made jeans. Quoted the best denim repair shop by GQ, Vogue Magazine, and LA Times. Denim Revival, your search for alteration and repair ends here. And to you it ain't pretty little thing, howdy your baby.
We are back with Ann, and she's taken us through this journey, how she went from the CD, book, and then movie. And I believe your movie went to television on Channel 10.
Correct. Yes, it's PBS, Public Broadcasting System Service.
So people could watch it from everywhere?
Just Las Vegas.
Just Las Vegas. Okay.
We may negotiate a contract nationally, but that may or may not happen.
Okay. But that's a big deal, just to get on television.
Yeah, that was another
to adopt you,
much easier thing than some people would have to go through. Yeah.
Okay.
There's certain things that you have to do to get that movie PBS acclimated. And I can't explain it, but it was a much easier process for me than it would be maybe for some other people.
Well, yeah, so, it seems like everything it's flowing.
Yeah, it's flowing to the right
Everything
place.
is flowing with you.
Yes.
And that was your first movie you produced, right?
Correct.
And then you're planning on producing other movies?
Yes. In fact, today I just got off the phone with a rather wonderful young lady who works at one of the schools here in town, and we're talking about possibly doing some kind of joint venture with them in their film department on creating the next film.
Nice.
So again, I knew it was going to happen almost a year after or less from Midnight Muse, and it's called Nomadic Nocturne, and it's about, this one you'll find intriguing because it involves a lot of your friends and passions. It's about the people that have come to Las Vegas to perform, create art, that are from all over the world.
Oh, okay.
And so I have about 40 or more lined up that are from everywhere you can imagine, and they'll tell their story of what it was like to come to Las Vegas.
To their journey.
And to share their talent and their gift with our community and what they've given back to our community and shared their background with us, and going back to, like, I'll probably date it back to 1970 until now. So that's kind of the storyline that'll be happening on that. And when you start a story and you think that's the script, and then it kind of it'll evolve into its own little storyline before it's
Yeah.
over. So that's our next journey.
So it seems like you're going to continue coming up with different stories to write and produce?
Well, at this moment, I take one step at a time. I don't get too far ahead of myself
Yeah.
because I do have some strange organizational skill that I can control all of
Yeah.
this. Whether it be control chaos, I don't know. But I'd like to do that. I'm not clear whether there'll be a book and a CD involved in this, but I definitely know it'll be a film. So it's just a matter of how, when, and who will be doing it. So,
But you have this idea now. The vision
yes,
is there,
yes,
and then
yes.
now you're going to start to take
this
action.
one,
towards
oddly
it.
enough, has taken longer.
Okay.
Because the foundation kind of took up a lot of my energy and time to get that up and running. And I'm very happy to say that this year we gave away $10,000 in scholarships, and we'll probably do that or more next year. So it's kind of become its own little entity, and it's sustainable. And I have some wonderful board members, over a dozen actually, that help it keep sustainable. And that
Nice.
is, once that baby is a little bit more of a toddler and then a little bit more of a grade school type child, I can then let that go a little bit more and then focus more on the other things. And I know that's what's delayed the Nomadic Nocturne, not because of anything I've done, but again, it's all about timing and the next step. So I think I was given this time to say, focus on that. And now that that's kind of up and running, the other door is opening more. And I've been seeing that in the last few months.
It seems like you're becoming an expert on how to recognize what you need to get done and flow with it.
I've become,
That
over the years, especially these last few years, very intuitive.
intuitive, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing
Yeah.
Intuitive.
Yeah, and I listen more.
Yeah.
Even though there's so much noise and chaos around us,
You listen
I
to
still
hear.
listen to what I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
doing. I don't understand it half the time. I can't understand how much I get done in a day. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand my energy level. I don't understand why my husband tolerates it. There's
Me
so many
neither.
things.
Trust
Yeah.
me, I don't know why my husband tolerated because what we do, it's a lot
It's
of
a
work.
passion.
But I
Well-
think they see us living through
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing something different than you are,
Yeah.
but it
But
takes a
we're
lot
both
of work.
blessed to have wonderful husbands
Yes,
that support
we're
us on
very,
that.
very blessed,
So, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And
But still, it takes a lot of work from us to keep that relationship as well, right? It's a blessing
Yes.
to have it, but it wouldn't have it if we don't put the effort to keep
right,
it as well.
right, right.
I
And
believe
you
that
have
you're
to have
doing your part.
Right. You have
you
to have a
know.
basis of trust.
yeah.
And once you establish that, it's it's not so simple to have that kind of relationship. There's a million women will tell you that's almost
Yeah, it's
impossible.
not. You know, when we come back, we're going to talk about this.
Okay.
How to that's a good subject. How to balance when you are busy and you have a lot a mission and a vision and all that, and you want to do it all. How you can get support from a husband that he's already supporting you, but we're going to go deeper in that. So we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm attorney Eric Palacios. If you or a loved one has questions regarding immigration, call my office at 444-7777. It's important to hire the right lawyer to take care of your immigration needs. Call 444-7777.
When my buyer showed me the sofa, I couldn't believe it was only $499. First off, I love the sophisticated and modern look. It's covered in a soft textured chenille fabric, so it's durable. Look at the sleek wood trim. But what about the inside, I asked. Well, inside it has superior S-spring seating that translates into support and comfort. And the accent pillows are included. Larry's price, $499. Now that's some bang for your buck. And with same-day delivery, it can be in your home today.
And we are back with my dear friend Ann Parenti. She is sharing with us how life took her from one thing to another, led you to another thing, and also we're talking about how to manage our husbands or family. You know,
Or can you manage a
can
husband?
you
That's the
manage
first-
all this together? So I think a lot of people can really benefit from this because sometimes as a woman we tend to we feel like we have to make a decision, either our relationship with our husband, with the kids, grandkids, or our mission in life. And that's hard to balance. Even though you and I have husbands who we're very blessed to have them support us with everything, but it comes with work. It doesn't come with no work. So can you share with us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was especially a challenge for Curtis and I during the recession, because Curtis was a very hardworking, physical, and that was his job. He was in construction his whole life.
Okay.
And when the recession came, that changed dramatically, and we had to actually retire him early, way earlier than he really should have, and he wanted to. And so there was a point where he was trying to come to terms with who he was going to be when he was no longer
Doing
working.
what he's doing.
And then I was coming to terms like, oh my God, we're both in a business to where he's in construction and I'm into hospitality sales and wholesale, where nothing's being built. And that was how actually the Midnight Muse project came to birth, was during the recession, when I said, what if I hadn't gone into the profession I did? What would I have gone into? And there is always that silver lining.
Yeah.
But going back to our relationship, we both had to work through that. He chose his way and I chose mine. And he will introduce me all the time as, this is my wife, Ann, who is a workaholic. And I went into overdrive to overcompensate for that change of our income. And he found his path through accepting that he was never ever going to be able to go back to work. And that was hard, and God bless him for that, because that was not an easy choice. A lot of marriages could have fallen apart during that time.
Yeah, because men, they're used to, especially,
anger.
He's not the new generation, you
No,
know.
not
They're
at
used
all.
to being the man who provides.
Yeah, and he knew that going in, because this is our second marriage together, and he did not want a woman where he had to provide for. Not that he couldn't, but he didn't want that. He wanted somebody that was capable of sustaining herself, and I was doing that prior to meeting him very well. And there was something about our relationship that made me very, very strong. And there was something about our relationship that made him very, very peaceful, to a degree. Okay, he was always energetic and always wanting to, do something physical, and that became quite of a challenge. Not that he's not physical or doing anything, but he wasn't building buildings anymore and up 9,000 stories, and it was something to come to terms with. So that process was very interesting for people that didn't go through psychotherapy. But we knew enough about our spirits, and that's what always drew me to him. He's a very good-looking man, and he was good-looking when I met him, and he still is. But that's not what I saw in him. I immediately saw that man's heart and his capability to love. And that's what still to this day draws me to him. And I'm guessing, I don't know what drew him to me, but it was just maybe my insanity. But that's kind of what our connection is, and it's more spirit connected than it is anything else.
So what we're saying, that's the same thing happened to me with my husband, because we both work 7 days. I work 7 days a week. I don't know about you, but I'm sure you do. And
if there was more days, I'd find a way to work them. Yeah.
If there is more 24 hours a day, we will be doing it.
Working it.
But then yet, it's challenging to keep your relationship.
Right.
Where it needs to be spend time.
Right.
And I have grandkids. And,
me too. Yeah.
On all that. So, but it's the same way. I think when you find a person who you're connected with them spiritually, that's where it keeps you together. More than just love. You're spiritually connected.
Right.
So if you're not spiritually connected, the marriage could break
easily,
even if you're not working over time.
Because people, when they get married, they assume that role that they're playing is always going to be that role.
Yeah.
And we all know that's not how it works in life. And that people change. I mean, people could get ill. There's a million things that can go wrong in a relationship. And if you keep your eye to what is real and all of the other stuff is not real. This too will pass. And so we survived it. I'd like to think we survived it. You know, I was sitting in the studio yesterday doing another CD recording, and I said, you know, what a life I have. My business is prospering, and I'm getting email. I'm doing emails while I'm watching Clint Holmes record a new CD, and I'm sitting there doing all of this business work on my phone while he's recording, and then after that I have to leave, and I run into another friend in a restaurant that I've known for 30 years, and we caught up, that does what I do for a day living. And then I go to see my friend Tasha perform last night a blues concert. So I go, what a charmed life I lead in most days. When people say, how do you get it all in? Well, it's because everything I did that day I loved. And that's the other key.
And then you could
Right.
feel. So now we're gonna, when we come back, we'll talk more, a little bit deeper. Yes, but how do we keep it? What is it in the relationship? You know, how close can we, how could we balance relationship with some people? They don't have that connection, the spiritual connection, how they can keep it together.
Okay.
So when we come back, we're going to be talking about that.
Okay.
Snap-on dentures will change your life. And at Smiles Today Dental, we now offer the lowest price in town. Mini dental implants can stabilize your loose dentures permanently. Call Smiles Today Dental for a free consultation.
Friendly Ford's 2018 summer closeout event starts now. Yes.
Yes.
Yes to the best selection.
Yes.
Yes to free registration. Yes. Friendly Ford, Decatur and US 95.
Pay less and get more. Friendly Ford, you get more.
Are back with my dear friend Ann Parenti, and we're talking about how to keep relationship with the husband and being working 7 days a week, 24 hours, and if we have more hours, we'll be working more, I know that. But not everyone have the spiritual connection with their husband, and they're putting their own mission or purpose on the side because they don't know how to balance that. What would you say to the woman that she doesn't know how to do that? What she needs to look for?
Well, that's a loaded question actually, because you have to know and be true to yourself no matter what, because if it's like the old, you're in the airplane, you put the oxygen mask on yourself before you can help someone else. You have to know who you really are. And with that becomes an empowerment that no one else can touch. So if you already are comfortable with who you are, then everybody around you that you've connected to will most likely understand that. If there's a disconnection, then somewhere in your inside of yourself, you really don't know who you really are. And so it becomes a little bit of a challenging day. I mean, I can't speak firsthand for these mothers that have children and are running errands and doing all of that. I had a taste of that in my early days living here when I was a caretaker for a young girl who was 8, and I did that full time for, including a day job, for a year. And that can sober you up about childbearing and raising children quickly, to know the true responsibility of a parent.
Of that.
And I just never had children myself, which that's part of the reason I can do all the things I do. But I do have 3 grown stepdaughters, and I have 7 grandchildren. They're all out of state, which again, I was not kind of a built-in babysitter.
Yeah.
So I have more time than other women.
Yeah.
And so I feel for my daughters, my stepdaughters, because they have all all these children with all these challenges, and they have husbands too, 2 of them do, and it is a challenge, and they don't always love their jobs. And that's the other thing. I guess if I could tell someone what to do, if it's at all possible, and it really is, love what you do. And then it becomes no longer a job, no longer a chain around your neck. Just find something in this world that you love doing.
Love to do.
And I'm telling you, a job itself will create itself around you if you are focused and grounded and know that that's what you're determined to do and that's what you're supposed to do.
So what I think here, what I see a lot of women do is they don't live their purpose. They hold a grudge against their husbands. They end up being divorced or separated because they're not happy themselves. So what you're saying, if you're happy and you know who you are, therefore you are probably gonna provide more love to your husband, and then the possibility to keep your marriage even and keep your mission, more. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, and there's that, and earlier on we were outside discussing, there's only 2 choices in life, fear or love. And if you always remember to choose love over fear, and who has to, and arguments, what's the use of arguing? I don't do that often with my husband. He loves to try to argue with me, but I diffuse it so quickly that he doesn't even know what hit him. Like, I don't need to be right. I just don't need to be right. And when, because there is no right when you're in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
And so we have a unique situation, but there are people out there that are determined to be right, and okay, because
if you think you're right, you're right.
yeah,
right?
you're right, and there's always the left, and so
to always start from you.
Yeah.
And then if you're happy, then you could you could project that.
Right,
And then if it's the other person took it, okay. If they don't take it, either way, it's gonna be separation anyway.
Right.
So it might be the other way. It might be somebody may be afraid to step up to their purpose and afraid to lose their marriage. They end up losing it anyway because they're not happy. But stepping into it with happiness, it might save your marriage.
Right. And
even though you're not given time.
And it's also about your own self-awareness and your
Sure.
own self-worth. It really boils down to self-worth. And I was just lucky enough to discover that in my earlier days prior to meeting Curtis. And I already knew, I just didn't know my full potential. And there's something about that magical relationship that when you know you're 2 together to do something, and I'm not saying that we're meant to be on this earth with somebody our entire life, because sometimes things change and we move on, and so, but I'm pretty sure that this is going to be, a companion, that I am more than a companion, but my husband that I will be with the rest of our
your
days.
life. Yeah.
But only God knows that.
That's right. Yeah.
Only God knows that. So, but I did promise that if there's something that happened, I will not go through this again. I did not write Manhattan Blues for any other reason, but I will not go through that again. So anyway, that's kind of I can't expand on it any more than that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We learned from our journey, and then keeping the balance. I think what we're walking away here from is find your own happiness, and that will project either the other person would take it or leave it, right?
Right,
okay.
right.
So how they can get hold of watching the movie, where they could watch it besides television? Do you have a website? Would you like to give your organization all the information?
We actually
Camera
have
is yours.
2. We have the one where you can see the film, the trailer, and that's called ForgottenSongMusic.com. And then we also have a foundation website called ForgottenSongFoundation.org. And you can find out about current events coming up on there and all of the past events, some fun pictures and things like that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, you can find the CD, the book, and the film on either one. You can just cross over sometimes.
So we look forward to seeing your next movie very soon, right?
Yes, and the CD will be out by the end of this month that we're co-producing. We're not the creator of it, but we're
And
co-producing
they could find it on the website
Yes,
as
called
well.
Las Vegas Suite. That won't be out yet, but it's coming.
Yes.
So that'll be very exciting, that one. So,
Okay, well, thank you so much
Thank
again
you
for
for
coming on
having
my
me.
show.
Okay.
I appreciate, and I appreciate your friendship and
Yes,
having you
always
in my
a joy.
life, being inspired by you. You keep going and you don't stop and following your intuition. So
Yes.
that's a great
Well,
example to the world.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for all of you, I encourage you not to let anything stop you and to stay focused on your purpose. Until next time, take care.